Well, so it's finally time for Merab to pay for what he did to Jan and Aldo. And Umar's the one who's gonna be dishing out this get back and slay the takedown goblin. And as you all know, I've been waiting for this day for a long time. So that's why in this video, I'm gonna give my completely unbiased breakdown and prediction of this fight. And I'm gonna start off by saying this. People are getting one thing wrong about this fight. And it's that they think that Merab has no chance because Umar is a better grappler and a striker and just overall more skilled. Which is true by the way, but if there's one thing I've learned about Merab, it's that his style isn't based on skill, okay? It's based on his cardio. And don't get me wrong, he has very good wrestling, but besides that, what is he good at? His striking is horrible, his defense is horrible, he has no power on the feet, no submission ability, mediocre ground and pound, mediocre control on the ground, devastating knees to the thigh to be fair though, but my point is, his style isn't based on skill at all, it's based on his cardio. The man shot like 60 takedowns against Jan, took him down less than 10 times, and every time Jan got back up very fast. But having to constantly defend takedowns, he naturally gassed out. And when Merab's fighting worse grapplers like O'Malley, he's just able to simply control them on the ground or against the fence and just knee away at their thighs. So this fight isn't as simple as, well, Umar has better grappling and better striking than Merab, so he wins. Listen, as much as I hate to say this, Merab has a very legitimate chance here if he puts the pace on Umar very early and makes him gas out. Now the question is, how will he succeed in doing that? Because when I look at Umar, I see a big guy for the division, I see the second fastest striker in the division, I see insanely good kicks, and on top of that, he's Khabib's cousin, so you know he's been grappling since he was like 3 years old, so basically, he has an unfair set of skills compared to the majority of the division. But as I said in the beginning, Merab's style isn't based on being extremely skilled anyways, it's based on his cardio. So how is this fight gonna be different from the Jan fight and the O'Malley fight? Well, I really think we have to look at the style of those opponents compared to Umar's. I mean, you look at Jan for example. If you advance on him, he will instinctually just shell up in his high guard and be on the lookout for a counter. And that just made him have a very hard time against Merab, cause when Merab would throw a punch and advance forward, that would just naturally make Jan shell up and make it so that Merab was in a position to shoot on him. Keyword to shoot, most of the time he wouldn't even get the takedown. And naturally, Jan became very exhausted cause he was constantly defending takedown attempts. Now when it came to O'Malley, Merab would just stay out of range and wait for O'Malley to overthrow with something, cause O'Malley's always looking to land something big, and then he would just time it and go for a takedown. Now the difference between Jan's and Umar's defense is that Umar relies a lot on his movement. Like if anyone advances on him, he'll actually just move away because he's very determined to keep the fight in kicking range. And that's also what separates him from O'Malley. O'Malley's often looking to land something big, at least in the Merab fight, which resulted in him overthrowing with his hands, and Umar's not gonna do that. Umar wants to keep the fight at kicking range because he knows that's where he's the best. And I know people aren't gonna like this, but the O'Malley fight was actually kinda close. Like if O'Malley has a different approach in that fight, I think he can win that. And fighting Umar, you're essentially just gonna be fighting a very fast long range striker who doesn't have a weakness against grappling, and that's just a really hard matchup for Merab. Actually, it's just a very hard matchup for anyone. And in terms of skill, I just think he's an overall better grappler than Merab too. I can really only give Merab the advantage when it comes to his pure wrestling, but that doesn't even matter too much because Umar's from Dagestan, he's been training with Khabib and Islam his whole life, so I'm pretty sure his takedown defense is on point. And I also just think Merab is gonna have a very hard time to even get to a position where he can attempt a takedown because Umar relies so much on his movement. Merab simply won't be able to constantly shoot takedowns like he did against Jan, which is essentially what his style is built on, constantly forcing his opponents into grappling exchanges until they gas out. So I really think his best opportunity to get a takedown in this fight is when Umar misses a kick or is off balance from a kick, and I just simply don't think Merab is dynamic enough to capitalize on that opportunity, so that's why I will be going with Umar in this fight. And I know he was slowing down a little bit against Sandhagen, but I at least trust him to edge out the early rounds with his striking and avoid getting taken down by Merab. And if the fight fight goes to the ground, I can even see him turning it around and gain dominant position. However, I think Merab probably wins the later rounds, but it won't be as much of a problem because Merab has no way to really finish off the fight, even if Umar is gassed, and even if it is a close fight, as long as there is an argument for Umar, Umar is winning a decision, let's be real. So I will be picking Umar by decision, but if there's one lesson I've learned as a professional Merab disliker, never count him out, okay? So like the main event, this fight is probably gonna be a lot closer than a lot of people think. And listen, I'ma end this video off by addressing all the fake hardcore Merab fans. All of you guys were attacking anyone for not finding Merab's fighting style entertaining after the O'Malley fight, which objectively it isn't. But as soon as Merab didn't want to fight Umar because he believed that Umar wasn't deserving, which is kinda true by the way, every quote-unquote hardcore Merab fan just ceased to exist. Like, where did they all go? Don't get me wrong, in terms of skills, Umar is pretty deserving, but when it comes to accomplishments, not so much. He has one ranked win against Sandhagen, so Merab actually had a bit of a point, and I'm saying that as someone who, let's say, isn't the biggest fan of Merab, okay? But that said, sorry for the yapping. And I think that's it for today, guys. Check out my last video where I predicted and broke down Islam versus Arman. But anyways, thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Am I just another Umar Glacier, or do you agree with my prediction? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to share this to a salty Merab fan. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.